Hello, and welcome to the Busy Becca podcast, where I share tips to help reshape your mindset and develop a healthy perspective. A healthy perspective is key, especially when dealing with challenges and trying to stay motivated to keep doing your best. I may not have all the answers, but I encourage you to sit back, enjoy the episode, and pick a lesson or two as I dive in. On with today's episode, I'd love for you to subscribe to the YouTube channel and click the notification button so that when a new episode pops up, you're the very first to know. And also, please share this episode or share the entire podcast with your circle. I'd really appreciate it. So, today's topic is heavily influenced by a sermon I heard at church, which was about change and having the courage to change. And the entire sermon really resonated with me because it summed up my perception on change and how I strongly believe that our propensity for change is driven by us. It's not just, or even in as much as we seek favor from God in everything, I also seek favor from man. You own your life. You have been gifted your life. Therefore, the trajectory of your path is determined more by you than by your environment and things that happen to you. And that's not what the topic was about, but then it just spoke into this thing that I believe regarding change and our lives. And I wanted to share a few reminders. So I won't call them tips because I feel they are things that we should already know or we already know, but it's just a gentle reminder, especially as the year is, coming to an end more or less. We just have 3 months and a few weeks left to go. And there tends to be this, slowness in pace for certain people, or others are go on hyperdrive trying to meet certain goals and tick certain boxes, and I happen to be one of those people. But then for those who are losing steam and kind of giving up, I feel like, oh, there's really nothing much I can do again, or things are working out for me. Oh, a lot of negative things have happened, a lot of sad things have happened, and I'm finding it difficult to cope. I just want to encourage you with a few pointers today, and that is what today's episode is going to be about. It's going to be brief, or I'll try to keep it brief, but then so let's begin. So the reason why you see my notebook here is because this topic is actually intended for my blog and not for the podcast, but I just felt I should give a highlight of it here, and then you read more on it on the Busy with Becca blog on WordPress. Yes, I do write. I write quite a bit, but this year I wanted to focus on the YouTube channel. Lives are in seasons, and in projects, and with each season there are different challenges, and with each challenge there's a different set of rules. So my first lesson would be we need to learn how to adapt to change. Be so set in our ways that will be like, oh, this is how I do this thing, therefore I can't do it any other way. Can't consider other alternatives because, oh, that's just not how I do things. You must learn to adapt. What's this thing? Albert Einstein said, insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. And that applies to every area of our lives. You can't keep repeating the same thing, playing out the same scenario in a loop and then expecting to have a different result. If you're fine with the results you get each time, then by all means stick to it. But if you're tired of where you are and you want things to change, you must do things differently. You must think outside the box, think of other things to do, and your life will start to move, or you would have more control. Because staying in one spot and say, oh, this is how I do it, everybody must conform to the way I do it, that's a recipe for stagnation and regression. Because yes, it may have worked out for you maybe some 10 years ago, some 5 years ago. It may have worked out for your parents, it may have worked out for people you look up to. But in times are changing, technology is changing things so swiftly that you also need to adapt if you want to grow, if you want to propel yourself to higher heights. So that's my first point. And my second point would be understand your aspirations, understand your goals, be aligned with where you're trying to head. Don't just let life be drifting you from pillar to post, left to right, with no direction. Understand what your aspirations are, understand who you are as a person, and what success means to you. Now, understanding this will help you plot your graph or plot your roadmap to Valhalla. I don't know why this connection came to my mind, but if you've watched all these Viking movies or series, or you're into Norse mythology, you must have heard of Valhalla, which is like where the dead warriors go to beat each other. It's like the ultimate haven for them after death. When they die in battle, it's an honorable thing to die as a warrior in the in Norse mythology. To connect it to what I'm trying to say, plot your roadmap to what brings you joy, what brings you fulfillment, what your dreams and aspirations are. What is that thing that you want to happen? And say, yes, I have arrived. Yes, I have done it. What is that purpose you want to fulfill in life? That is your Valhalla. And then think of where you are now and how you want to get to that place. Don't just exist for the sake of existing. That's just a waste of your beautiful life, because everybody has value to add on this earth. It may not be something so expansive. I think I've spoken about this before. It may not be something so massive, so expansive, like, oh, you're on TV, everybody knows you. Even in your sphere, small sphere of influence, you do have value. Everybody has a role to play in this life. Nobody was just born just to exist. So I encourage you to find what those aspirations are, find what your purpose is, and key into it and let it direct you. So my third reminder is going to be that you cannot live bigger than your dreams. You can't be bigger than your aspirations. You can only go as far as your eyes can see. Basically, that's what I'm trying to say. So if your dream is not big enough, you're not going to be forced to push yourself to do more. You're going to limit yourself. You're going to box yourself into that small thing that you're picturing. Your dreams are the one place or your dream is the one place that you're allowed to be greedy, you're allowed to be selfish, you're allowed to have long throats, because it's a dream. Nobody is boxing. If you cannot think big or aspire big or have a dream that makes you shudder at the thought of it, then you're not really ready to do that big thing that you've been saying you want to do. You're just saying it, but like I said, you're just kind of saying it because everybody says that. So I don't want to be misunderstood to make this sound like I'm encouraging a materialistic mindset, or when I say dream big, I'm not talking about having material things, or owning 10 cars or 20 houses, or no. This is linked to purpose, to you adding value on earth, to you getting to your deathbed and saying, yes, I lived, I conquered, I left my footprint on this earth. I didn't just come and go. There were people that felt my impact. There were people who were touched by my presence. There were people who were affected positively by the works of my hands. That is what I mean when I talk about aspirations and dreams. I'm not referring to material things. So let's be on the same page. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but that's not what I'm talking about. That's a separate thing entirely. And yeah, let me just leave it at that. So dream big. Allow yourself to think of the impossible and make it a reality. Finally, I want to encourage you to own your reality, own your life. It is so easy to blame other people for your current situation, where you are, the things you don't have. It is so easy. It is the easiest thing to do, to play the victim. Even though you are a victim, don't get me wrong, even though people caused you to be where you are, it's so easy to just give up and say, oh, it's not my fault because I didn't put myself in this situation, therefore I can't take myself out of the situation. Like, unbeknownst to you, you are giving your power, you're giving your control to other people. You're giving your control to these people that you say have hurt you, have traumatized you, have abused you, by letting go and just saying, oh, I give up. They put me here and I'm a victim of circumstances. I'm a victim of this situation. No, own your reality, accept where you are, and take the reins back, take control back. Now, I'm going to give a very sad example, but then this is how this is how you shift your mindset. Rather than saying, or actually, it's so easy to say, I am a drug addict now because I had a bad friend influence me. I'm a drug addict because, oh, I was really with the wrong crowd, which makes you a victim of circumstance. It's so much harder to say I'm a drug addict because I lacked better judgment. I'm a drug addict because I lack self discipline. But once you say that, once you own your reality and say, oh, do you know what? I had a play, excuse me, I had a part to play in this. Unfortunately, you are taking control of the narrative of your life. You're not giving yourself off to people. You're not pawning your responsibility to other people. You're saying, oh, I own this, therefore, okay, these are the issues. I need to have better judgment. It's so sad where I am, but I need to work on my self-discipline. I need to work on my character. This is just one example. The other scenarios where people are actually victims, but for you to take yourself out of that situation, regardless of what has happened, you need to own the reality. Okay, I am here now. What can I do to take myself out? Emphasis on take myself out, not what can people do or who should I talk to. What can I do to take myself out of this situation? What can I do to change my story? What can I do to be different? What can I do to not give control to other people and let them feel like they've won over me, let them feel like they've conquered me? So own your reality, take charge of your life, and just be honest with yourself. Take responsibility for the things you did that kept you or that contributed to where you are. Take responsibility for the role you played. And then little by little you will now realize that you have the power within you to take steps away from that situation. And in conclusion, I just want to remind you that our lives are always in seasons, and our lives are always in seasons, and with each season comes specific challenges, and with those challenges come different sets of rules. But you need to adapt, adjust, pivot, and change so that you don't get swept up by the tide, you don't get drowned by the waves, you don't get, I don't know, whatever other analogy you can think of. Own your reality, take charge, and be your own person. Be your own driver. Don't be a passenger in the car that is your life. Be the driver. Take charge today. Do the things you need to do. Develop the discipline that is required. So, to the sermon that I said I heard that inspired today's episode, the topic was the courage to change. And the pastor said there's a lot of knowledge, there are a lot of people that know the things they're supposed to do but then don't do it, not because they don't know but because they don't have the courage to change. It's a lot easier to just say, this is where I'm at, or to just stay loyal to the lie. Yeah, that was what he said, stay loyal to the lie. But you need to snap out of it, own your reality, and take steps to do different so you can be different, so the outcome is different, so you can live a more fulfilled life. You can not be distracted by the circumstance or the situation around you, and you can perform or meet your purpose. So I hope you enjoyed today's episode, and I hope you share with someone. And I'm glad, really, really glad you got to watch this episode. So have a lovely week ahead, and God bless you.